Hey there, and welcome back to my channel. On this video, I'm going to talk about my books that I want to read in August. And if you are just watching a video for the first time, what I typically do is try to read 22 books every month in the year of 2022. It's my challenge for this year. And so I pick out 17 books that I want to have on my list. And then I pick out 5 books as part of an alphabet challenge where I pick a letter and then I find books on my Kindle that I want to read that start with that letter. And I do that live on the video. Then I always do a debrief video at the end of every month. You can find out what I actually read, and usually I read at least a few things that were not on my list, but this is what I'm hoping to read as we dive into the month of August. So I have, first of all, a couple of Wheel of Time books on my list. I am behind. I'm trying to read this entire series this year. So I have Lord of Chaos, and I also have A Crown of Swords, number 6 and number 7 on my list. I have audio for both. I also have hard copies for both. I'm hopeful that I can read both of these in the month of August. I also have a couple books in a different series for the Chronicles of the One. I have been trying to read Of Blood and Bone for months now, and I have not been able to get to it. I also added the third one onto my list as well, called The Rise of Magics. I'm going to try to get through both of these this month in August. So I'm kind of upping the ante for myself to try to read both of these books in the month. I also am adding a couple of books that I had on previous months. The Sign for Home by Blair Fell. This is about a man who is deaf and he is blind, and he's kind of trying to navigate the world, and it's also kind of a kind of unconventional romance story as well. I've been trying to get this read and haven't had a chance to read it yet. Also adding back onto my list Hideout by Hideout by Louise Luna. It's the Alice Vega series about a woman who finds missing people. I have this on audio, so I'm hoping I can get to that this month. And then I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I'm adding in from previous months. If it is, I can't remember. So the other books I'm adding in, the latest book by Miranda called The Last to Vanish. This is a book that is about, it's a thriller. This is a thriller writer. Opens with the disappearance of a journalist who's investigating a string of vanishings in the resort town of Cutter's Pass. Will its dark secrets finally be revealed? So always love a thriller. Excited to dive into that. Also picking up the latest in the Temperance Brennan series by Kathy Reichs called Cold, Cold Bones. This is number 21 in the series, and I am all caught up. So I want to read the latest book that is coming out. General plot for this is Temperance Brennan is a forensic anthropologist. After receiving a box containing a human eyeball, she uncovers a series of gruesome killings, eerily reenacting the most shocking of her prior cases. So, going to dive into that. Also picking up the latest in the Mercy and Elvis mysteries called The Wedding Plot by Paula Munier. This just came out. This is a book about Mercy Carr, who is a veteran, and she has a dog that is also retired from the Army as well. And it says Mercy and Elvis, that's the name of the dog, are at a deadly Vermont wedding. When Mercy's grandmother, Patience, marries her longtime beau, Claude, at the 5-star Lady Slipper Inn, it promises to be the destination wedding of the year. Just as the 4-day extravaganza is due to begin, the inn spa director disappears. And then I guess they find a body, and it goes on from there. So really enjoy this mystery series. Looking forward to picking that up as well. Also picking up the latest by Lucy Foley called The Paris Apartment. This is a month where I'm getting back to my mystery roots. I have missed some of my mystery genre books, and I had a bunch of them come in on library holds from things that I'd wanted for a while. So this is a book, it's a locked room mystery set in a Paris apartment building in which every resident has something to hide. Jess needs a fresh start. She's broken alone, and she's just left her job under less than ideal circumstances. Her half-brother Ben didn't sound thrilled when she asked if she could crash with him for a bit, but he didn't say no, and surely everything will look better from Paris. Only when she shows up to find a very nice apartment, he's not there, and he's missing, and the mystery goes on from there. All right. Also picking up, I think I did assign myself this book earlier in the summer, Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This is a romance novel. I was able to get it on audio, and I think that will help me to get through this. One of many different romance novels that was on my list. The love interest is a carpenter who's 10 years younger than the female lead, but their chemistry is undeniable. So we shall see what happens there. Also decided to pick up another Kristen Hanna. I really enjoyed The Great Alone, which I read earlier this year. That was the first Kristen Hanna I'd ever read. So I picked up a book called Night Road. And this is a book about several kind of high school students, I think, where it says senior year of high school brings unexpected dangers, and one night there is an accident, and this woman who's kind of the mother of I think twins, is her idyllic life is shattered. Close-knit community is torn apart by this accident that happens. So I believe this is kind of probably a domestic literary fiction, maybe even a thriller. Looking forward to picking that up. I'm also going to add the next couple books in the Armand Gamage series. Number 12 is called A Great Reckoning, and this one, general plot, is about an old map found stuffed into the walls of a bistro in Three Pines. And it says, the closer the villagers look, the stranger it becomes. It's given to Armand Gamage as a gift, and the map eventually leads him to shattering secrets. So always love a Louise Penny book. The next book in the series, number 13, is called Glass Houses. And it says, when a mysterious figure appears in Three Pines one cold November day, Armand Gamage and the rest of the villagers are at first curious, then wary. The figure stands unmoving, straight, staring ahead through rain and sleet. And from the moment the creature's shadow falls over the village, Gamage suspects it has deep roots and a dark purpose. So we shall see what happens there too. These sound very fall-like in their tone, and as we get to the end of the summer, I'm always looking to transition into the fall season, so looking forward to those. Also picking up a book that I just ran across at my library kind of randomly. It's called The Replacement Wife by Darby Kane, and general plot for this book, domestic suspense novel that asks how many wives and girlfriends should disappear before your family notices. Elisa Wright is a mom and wife living a nice, quiet life in a nice, quiet town. She's also convinced her brother-in-law is a murderer. So always love a domestic thriller. Looking forward to picking that up. And then the last book I have on my list of 17 is called A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. That is right. This is a book that is an incredibly popular book, the first in a series. Everyone, I feel like, has read this except for me, so I am diving in. I have it on audio. I also have it on ebook. Let's see what it's about. I don't even really know. Okay. When 19-year-old huntress Fair kills a wolf in the woods, a terrifying creature arrives to demand retribution. Dragged to a treacherous magical land she knows about only from legends, Fair discovers that her captor is not truly a beast, but one of the lethal immortal fairies who once ruled her world. At least he's not a beast all the time. As she adapts to her new home, her feelings for the fairy Tamlin transform from icy hostility into a fiery passion that burns through every lie she's been told about the beautiful, dangerous world of the Fae. So sounds like it's going to be a romance, also fantasy novel, which sounds right up the alley of what Sarah J. Maas typically writes. So thought I would dive into that and kind of see what I can come up with there too, and looking forward to seeing if I enjoy it. All right, so let's also dive into the books that I'm going to pick for my alphabet challenge. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my Kindle here so I can take a look at what books I might find, and I'm going to draw a letter from my trusty container. All right, the letter I have drawn is the letter B. So let us see what I have on my Kindle with the letter B. I'm wondering how many. Ooh, there's not very many. Okay, I have less than 5 books and I need to have at least 5. So I'm gonna draw another letter because this actually doesn't give me enough to work with. So let's see what else I can find. Okay, I'm picking another letter. I have 2 things here, but the one that's on top is J. Another kind of difficult letter. Let's see what I have in the J category. Okay, this actually seems like I have more here. Okay, so let's see what I've got. Okay, so I'm gonna pick some J books. The first one I'm gonna pick is Just Like You, a novel by Nick Hornby. Always love a good Nick Hornby novel. If you've never encountered him, a lot of his books have been made into films, like About a Boy, for example. So I'm gonna pick this one up. I have no idea what it's about, but we'll see what I enjoy about that. I'm also gonna pick up Marie Kondo's Joy at Work, Organizing Your Professional Life. Who doesn't love a little Marie Kondo for your work? So I'm gonna pick up that as well. That looks like fun. I'm gonna pick up a book called The Jigsaw Man, a novel, which looks like a thriller by Nadine Matheson. I have not read that author before, so I'm kind of curious about what that is going to look like. Let's see. I'm gonna pick up Bryan Stevenson's Just Mercy, A Story of Justice and Redemption, because this is definitely a book that I've heard a ton about, but I've never read, so I'm gonna add that to my list as well. And then the last book I'm gonna add to my list is called Just Work, How to Root Out Bias, Prejudice, and Bullying to Build a Kick-Ass Culture of Inclusivity by Kim Scott. This is the person, I believe, who's done a lot of work on candor. Like, she has a book on candor and I think a podcast as well. So I'm gonna pick up Just Work by Kim Scott. So I think that's my 5. So I'm gonna add those to my list for August and look forward to seeing how many of these I can get through and what else I might add to my list that I want to read over the course of the month. Would love to know what you're reading over the next month if you want to drop a comment into the chat below. And I'll be back at the end of the month to let you know how it went. Happy reading.